Hello, everyone. Another book today, but it's a continuation in our Space Shuttle scam book. Let's pick up and we'll read one chapter today. Chapter 7. Dink opened his eyes. Something had awakened him. He tried to see around him, but the bunkhouse was dark. It was quiet outside. Even the crickets had stopped making their night sounds. Then Dink heard something creak. He sat up and looked toward the door. Dink knew the hinges squeaked when the screen door opened and closed, but who would be opening it in the middle of the night? And Dink was almost certain that Josh had latched the door before climbing into his bunk, but he wasn't 100% positive. So he threw off his blanket and climbed down the bunk's ladder. Josh was snoring. Excuse me, everyone, there's a fly in my room, so if you see me fanning, that's what it's all about. As Dink's feet reached the floor, he smelled mosquito repellent, but it didn't have a pine scent like Ruth Rose's. This was stronger and familiar. Praying that he wouldn't step on a scorpion, Dink walked to the door and peered out. He saw a few stars, but the moon was behind some clouds. The air was warm and damp. Flying insects bumped into the screen. Isn't that interesting? An insect is flying in here. Dink ran his hand along the wooden frame of the screen door, feeling for the hook and eye latch. His fingers found the hook, but it was hanging loose, not latch. He stood there for a minute trying to remember what Josh had said last night. Something about locking the door to keep the wild critters out. So if Josh had latched the door, why was it not latched now? Dink dropped the hook into the round little eye and pushed the door to make sure it wouldn't open. Dink tiptoed back to the bunk bed and climbed the ladder. He shivered and pulled his blanket up under his chin. Closing his eyes, he convinced himself that no animal had come into the bunkhouse, but who had unlatched the door? Sunlight coming through the window shone in Dink's eyes, waking him. He blinked, yawned, and sat up. He looked at the pond and some palm trees through the window. Then he glanced around the bunkhouse. Below him, Josh was a lump under a blanket with one foot sticking out, dangling over the floor. Dink smiled. Josh had taken his shoes off, but had slept in his socks. Across the room, Ruth Rose was also snuggled beneath the covers. No bears, wolves, or mountain lions were there. Unless they were hiding in the bathroom. He checked his watch. It was 7:30. Yawning, he reached for the magazine Auntie A had lent him. Excuse me. He read part of an article about how the earth was getting warmer. He read about scientists trying to turn algae into fuel. Auntie A's husband had written to scientists about a similar idea. Dink looked up at the ceiling. Maybe Barney Wallace was on to something. Dink's stomach growled. He dropped the magazine, wondering what they'd be having for breakfast. He pulled his toothbrush and toothpaste from his backpack and climbed down the ladder. The wood floor felt cool on his bare feet. I should have kept my socks on too, he thought. He took a step toward the bathroom, then froze. 10 inches from Josh's foot, a snake was curled up between Dink's sneakers. Dink backed up, bumping Josh's bed. What are you doing? Josh mumbled. There's a snake on the floor, Dink whispered. Don't move. Josh snorted. Don't play games, James, he said. Dink climbed halfway up his ladder. I'm not, he said. Take a look and you'll see it about a foot from your bunk. Josh peered out from his bunk and gasped. What's going on? Ruth Rose said suddenly. She was sitting up, rubbing her eyes. Don't get out of bed, Dink said. There's a snake on the floor by my sneakers. Oh my gosh, Ruth Rose cries. What's it doing there? I don't know, Dink said. How did it get in here? Josh asked. Only his eyes and nose were visible from under his blanket. Josh, did you lock the screen door last night? Dink asked. Yup, Josh said. Why? Because I got up during the night. The door wasn't latched. Josh moaned. It's not moving, Ruth Rose said. Maybe it's a fake snake. Nope, I just saw its little tongue come out, Josh said. It's real. Guys, it has red, yellow, and black bands, Ruth Rose said. It's a poisonous coral snake. The three kids watched the snake, but it wasn't doing anything. It lay curled up with its head resting on the toe of Dink's sneaker. Every few seconds, a thin tongue shot out of its mouth. It had tiny eyes which didn't blink. We need a plan, Ruth Rose said. I have a plan, Josh said. Strap me in that space shuttle and shoot me up to the moon. I'll hang out with Binky or Blinky. We'll be fine as long as we stay in bed, Dick said. I don't think snakes can jump. Dude, if this snake unlocked the door, it can climb into my bunk. Josh said. I have an idea, Ruth Rose said. She stretched one foot out from under her blanket. Using her toes, she dragged the wire trash basket to the side of her bed. She sat up and grabbed the basket. What are you doing? Josh hissed. Ruth Rose tiptoed across the room and quickly dropped the wastebasket over the snake and Dink's sneakers. The snake moved, but too late. It was a prisoner inside the basket's wire mesh. Now it can't get us, Ruth Rose announced. And I can't get my sneakers, Dink said. Josh giggled. Snakes love bare feet. Pete, he said. Thanks, Ruth Rose. You're a rock star. Dink climbed back down the ladder. He knelt to get a good look at the snake. It's kind of pretty, Dink said. I like its little red face. What should we do with it? Ruth Rose asked. Dink thought for a minute. Hey, remember when Kenny was driving us here and we passed Snake World? He asked. We could bring the snake over there. Great idea, Josh said. You take the snake while I eat a pancake. All right, that's the end of chapter 7. So the coral snake got in the bunkhouse, but Ruth Rose came to the rescue. If you like chapter 7, press like, and I'll see you next time at Cindy Harper Sphinx. Thanks for tuning in, and bye for now.